Alright, so welcome to nutrition. So there's going to be two parts. First, I'm going to talk about goal-oriented nutrition, which is like body composition style, and then I'm going to talk about performance-based. So there's going to be two parts. First, I'm going to talk about this. Second, I'm going to talk about this. So it's going to basically cover everything you need to know to maximize your nutrition from your standpoint, from your perspective, both for body goals and for performance output goals. Okay, so before we talk, we're going to talk about what each does before I get into goal-specific and performance-specific. So for goal-specific nutrition, we're talking about body-specific, meaning like gain weight, maintain weight, or lose weight. So this is going to be extremely like calorie-oriented. So it's not necessarily like eat carbs here, eat fats here. Obviously, macros are important here, but it's mainly the calories because in terms of body composition, calorie input, output, and obviously protein and lifting is important. But in terms of gaining, losing, and maintaining weight, in terms of like the fat, right, it's going to be calorie-oriented every time. Okay, so it's going to be quantity based. So it's always, every time you think about goal, you want to gain weight, you want to lose weight, you want to maintain, it's all going to be the quantity of food. If you want to maintain weight, you got to burn and eat the same amount of calories. If you want to gain, you got to eat more than you burn. If you want to lose, you got to burn more than you eat. Every single time. You can't eat more calories than you burn and expect to try to eat performance-based. I mean, you can't eat carnivore and eat 8,000 calories and burn 2,000, expect to lose weight just because of what you're putting in your body. How much is important in terms of what you're trying to do in terms of your body goals. Once you get your body goals, then I say focus on the output. Now, I'm not saying eat one McDonald's burger and that's what you should eat, but I'm saying the quantity is much more important in the beginning as opposed to the quality when it comes to performance. So first, we're going to talk about goal-oriented nutrition first, and then we'll get into performance. So goal-oriented nutrition is going to be calories, quantity, body-specific, meaning gain, lose, or maintain weight. Okay? In performance aspect, we're going to talk about output-specific. And usually when I talk about performance, in my understanding of performance-based nutrition, is in my opinion, you're going to optimize your hormonal output, whether it's testosterone, estrogen, androgens, whatever it is, you're going to optimize your hormones to produce a specific output of size, strength, speed. It has to do with the performance. It's an output of hormones, and it's the output of the ability of your muscles to move in a way which you want them to, or build in a way that you want them to. So now, it's also going to have calories because the goal of output specific is obviously going to probably be a calorie surplus, right? It's going to be calorie specific, but it's also going to have specific macros, and then those macros are going to be timed, and they're also going to have to do with whether you're eating carbs or fats and the conversion of the energy that those create. So, for example, pre and post workout in terms of carbs, what supplements are going to happen for performance-based, because in terms of goal-oriented nutrition, supplements are important, but when you get to performance-based, supplements are going to be way more important because of the conversion, not only of energy, but of the hormones to give you the performance and the output that you want based on what you put in your body, okay? And then obviously it's going to be quantity, but it's also going to be a huge emphasis on quality of food to output hormones in the goal of getting size, strength, speed, whatever your performance output goal is, okay? So first, we're going to talk about goal-oriented nutrition. All right, so welcome to goal-oriented part one, okay? So the first part of this, as long as this is up here, this is going to be goal-oriented. I'll keep this up here so you can see which one's which, okay? So in terms of goal-oriented, like I said, it's going to be calorie-based. So you need to understand the input has to match the output in terms of what your goals are, okay? So this is what I call the calorie chart. So you're going to be 7 to 21, and I have minus, 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 equals, plus, and plus, plus. So this is going to be extreme gain. So the equation for this is whatever number you're going to pick, and you multiply it by your body weight. So your body weight multiplied by the number you pick is going to equal the recommended calories you have depending on your body weight to maintain that based on what you pick or lose or gain. So if I take, right, 10 times my body weight, right, 180, right, 1800, I'm going to be losing weight based on my body weight. Not to even mention the muscle mass I'd lose based on the macros I have. But calorie-wise, my body's going to be burning more calories than I'm eating by just me being at 10, right? Because it's going to be in the minus category. Now, the farther down you go, the more you're going to lose, right? Because the less calories you're eating, the less the more you're going to burn. The opposite goes for whether it's in maintain, plus, or plus plus. The more calories you have, the more you're going to gain weight at a faster rate. So if your goal is to lose body fat, right? Obviously, you're going to want to be at a higher rate of calories burned depending on the time frame you want to accomplish that goal in. Now, don't starve yourself, right? Because then you're not going to have a quality performance. We're going to talk about performance next. But in terms of quantity, you have to understand that there's going to have to be a decrease of calories if the goal is to lose. Now, if the goal is to gain, you're going to have an increase of calories. Now, obviously, you can put on muscle with not a huge increase. You don't have to be 2,000 calories over what you're burning, because then you're just going to get fat, right? But you have to be at a surplus in order to gain muscle at a high rate if you're not on steroids, which I don't recommend being on steroids. And also, you're going to have to understand macros as well, which we're going to talk about in terms of performance-based. But in terms of calories, follow this chart. Body weight times the number you picked equals recommended calories. Big part as well, you have to factor in the burned and extra calories. So if you're in the 16 category, right? If you're category of 16 times your body weight, and that's your recommended, but you walk 10,000 steps a day, you live in Europe, and you walk 10,000, 12, 14, 15,000 steps a day, you're going to need to factor that into the calories you need to eat if you really want to gain weight, okay? So if the goal is to gain, you have to factor in what you're burning to really gain well, right? Now, the same thing goes for if you're in the minus category. You have to really be specific on how you track your calories. And I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to show you an easy way to track calories, at least the way I do it on your phone. It's super simple. But you have to also factor in the extra calories you eat. Because if the goal is to lose weight, then the calories are going to be king, right? Because if you're eating, right, chicken breast, but you're putting a bunch of mayo and sauces on it, those calories need to be played into effect, because you could even end up at the calorie range for someone that's going to be equal, and you're not going to lose the weight, or you could even end up gaining weight when you're trying to maintain, or say you're at a 12, but you don't factor in the oils and the sauces that you're eating, you could end up in the gain weight section when you're trying to lose weight. And this is what people don't factor in when they're trying to lose weight, usually, is because they don't factor in the hidden calories in drinks and sauces and all this, and they don't understand the calories, and they don't track it super meticulously. They don't track it very, very precisely, and they end up messing up the calories, and they feel like they're stuck, or they feel like they're a hard gainer. But you're not a hard gainer, because you can't nobody's a hard gainer. Nobody's a hard loser. It's not real. If you I'm not gonna lie, don't be anorexic, but if you stop eating, you're not gonna get bigger. Does that make sense? Okay? I'm not recommending you do that, but for the sake of example, if you just stop eating, you wouldn't gain weight. So obviously the issue is not you not being able to lose weight. It's what you're putting in your body and your lack of tracking it that makes you unable to lose the weight, okay? So now don't worry, you don't have to starve yourself. I'm gonna explain to you how to do it in every step of the way, not only for the calories, but how to eat for performance as well, so you also get the output in the gym that you want, okay? So this is the calorie chart. In a second, I'm gonna go into gain, lose, and maintain. Now that you have your chart numbers, we're going to talk about gaining, losing, and maintaining weight from a caloric perspective only, okay? So now when you're gaining, like I said, you have to input more than you output. You have to eat more than you burn, okay? So like I said, in the chart, it's going to be 16 to 21 multiplied by your body weight to be the calories you need to gain weight. Now this has nothing to do with the protein yet, so stay tuned for when I get to macros. But for right now, in just terms of a calorie perspective, for the weight on the scale, okay, the input has to be greater than the output, and it has to be 16 to 21 on the scale multiplied by your body weight or more, okay? So if you're going to eat more, you're going to gain more faster, okay? So again, eat more than you burn, 16 to 21 multiplied by your body weight, and that's going to set you up calorically to gain weight. Not counting macros yet, talk about it later. For maintaining, that's going to be input equal to output. So obviously you don't have to hit it 1 calorie on the dot, because 3,500 calories are in a pound of fat, right? So you can understand that, right? So you have a little bit of a range to work here, but you want to have pretty much equal. I'd say keep it within 300 to 400 of each other. And it's hard to track in terms of how much you're burning sometimes, but when you look at your step count, and you also can factor in weightlifting, you can get a pretty good estimate of how much you have. And also you can estimate how to maintain over time when you get to learn your body and you track your food more. And I'll talk about this more after this. I'm going to talk about how to track your macros, but right now I'm talking to you about the numbers, and I'll tell you how to track your food, and then we'll talk about the actual macro portion of how you need to structure your day in an effective way so you can stay committed, okay? For right now, maintain input equal to output. 13 to 15 on the chart, multiplied by your body weight, is going to give you around where you should be to maintain your weight, okay? And like I said, for all of these, you have to factor in your activity as well. If you're trying to gain weight and you run a marathon, your calories are going to have to be really damn high that day, like a lot if you want to keep on the path of gaining weight. So again, factor in your calories that you burned every single day. I'll talk about how to do this, but right now I'm just talking about the eating portion, okay? So now, in terms of losing weight, right, your input is going to need to be less than the output. So you're going to have to burn more calories than you're eating if you want to lose weight. 7 to 12 multiplied by your body weight, factored in, right, with how much you burn, is going to set you up and how to lose body fat, okay? So I'm gonna explain in a second how to track it and then how to track how much you're burning as well. But know for now that in terms of the numbers that you need to be eating to lose, it has to be 7 to 12 times your body weight, and then also you can factor in what you're burning and add that on as well. So in the lose category, right, if you have that many calories you need to eat in relativity to your body weight to lose weight, and you burn a ton more calories, understand that you can eat a little bit more and still be in the category to lose weight, okay? So for this one, the number you burn just has to be way more, not way more, but more than how many you're inputting for you to eventually lose weight. But like I said, for this one, if you do more activity, you have to eat more, right? But if this one, the same thing, if you do more activity, you can't eat more. For this one, you have to eat more to maintain, but for this one, if you burn more, you get the opportunity to eat more because the goals are different. Even though it's the same burn lose, you have to still be on the pendulum, right? I'm the pendulum, right? For the gain, the more you burn, you're going to have to eat more to be over. But for this one, you burn more, right? Say you're trying to lose 10 pounds, but you burned a shit ton of calories today. Maybe you can eat a little bit more food today, okay? And then again, in terms of what you're eating, we're going to get into that performance base, okay? So if in terms of just the numbers, here's this. You can screenshot that if you want. All right, so in terms of the actual calories and how to track them, you have to understand two things, and in terms of tracking, you have to consider a few more. So in terms of the calories, in 3,500 calories, this is more important to trying to lose weight, right? There's going to be, in 3,500 calories, in 1 pound of fat, there's going to be 3,500 calories. So you've got to understand, for every 3,500 calories you burn, you're going to burn 1 pound of fat. Okay, so this is why in terms of eating less than you burn, it's important because as the calories stack up over a course of 7 days, if you burn 500 calories a day, right, over the course of 3.5 days, you're going to burn a pound. If you're in a 500 calorie deficit per day. This is why in terms of losing, maintaining, you might think that you just can't lose weight, but in reality, you're just not losing it fast enough or the calories are not adding up fast enough. So like I'm saying, if you burn 3,500 calories in 1 day, okay, that's a pound of fat in 1 day. But also understand that your body has an amount of calories that it burns just being a body. This is why, in terms of metabolism and having muscle, you're going to burn more at rest than normal. So when people say about 2,000 calories in a daily value, right, when you see that on the labels of food, that's because your body will burn the average person burns about 2,000 calories per day just doing nothing. But understand, the more muscle you have in terms of performance, okay, you're going to burn more. So that's when I talk about performance eating, you got to understand a couple things too. Okay, but just in terms of eating right now, we're going to talk about the calories and what you have to do to burn them, okay? But then also you have to how to track them for maintenance, losing, or maintain. Now, in terms of muscle, there's about 700 calories in a pound of muscle, but to build a pound of muscle, you're going to need about 2,700, 2,800 in surplus in addition to a lot of protein, okay? So understand this when you're trying to build muscle. Now, in terms of what you're doing in terms of muscle, that we can get into that in a separate video, and I already have a video posted, but in terms of the calorie content, you're going to need 2,700 to 2,800 to build 1 pound of muscle. So over the course of a caloric surplus, if you have that in surplus, it's going to stack up the same way that fat does, but it's going to stack up into building muscle, assuming you're doing the right things, hitting your protein and going to the gym, okay? Now, in terms of how to track this, all right, you're going to need to have an app called Fat Secret or MyFitnessPal, but I like Fat Secret. I think it's easier. I just haven't used MyFitnessPal, but this works great as well. So this is the app. I drew the app logo. This is what it looks like. It's a Fat Secret. It's a green keyhole. It should come up. It's free. Don't worry. You have to pay like track your water, but track your water anyway. All right, so that's what the app looks like, and you use it, and I'm going to play a video right now about how it's going to interact, so that's going to play right now about how to track your calories. All right, so this is going to be the walkthrough on how to navigate Fat Secret. So here's the app right here. I'm going to click on the app, and I'm going to go into today. So this is how it should be once you get through the selection, and then you can just go in, right, and select breakfast, lunch, whatever it is, right, and then you can click on it, and you can search. So you can go into food, and like today I had a Five Guys, whatever, Chick-fil-A, a cinnamon roll, whatever it is, right, and then you can search out brands. So if you wanted to do Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right, no matter what it is, right, and you can click on it and it'll have it and you can find it, and then if you want to go into it, let's say you want to get more specific on it, right, and we can do serving sizes, grams, ounces, go way more in depth. It'll tell you what it is, and then also when you save it, right, we can look at our nutrition facts for the entire day, right, so if we look at what we did today, we can do a summary view of it and kind of look how much calories we have, how much we've consumed, how much we need to go. And then you can also kind of look at your more in-depth macros down here, like sodium, cholesterol, etc. And then in terms of like what else you need to do, you can also create recipes. So like if you had like a recipe that you eat all the time, like a saved meal, right? So like I have my Chipotle bowl saved. So I can just click on my Chipotle bowl and it'll go in, or like when I was eating a certain type of like yogurt every single day, or when I'm at school and I get a salad and I know exactly what's going to be in it. So I already just click it. It's already done for me. And then I can just save that and I don't have to enter it in individually. It'll just do it for me there. And then I'll have whatever I ate already in. It'll tell me how much I have. It'll tell me all kinds of stuff, and then I can just look at it and know it even more. Okay, we are back. Hopefully that video was informative and I showed you how to navigate the app, how to put in what you need to put in, recipes, etc. Okay, so in terms of actually what you're going to put in there now, right, track your protein. Protein is going to be key for maintaining the muscle mass you have and the muscle mass you're going to build. So in terms of protein, you're going to want to eat 1 to 1.3 grams of protein per pound of body weight every single day. Okay, so every day you want to hit 1 to 1.3 grams of protein per pound of body weight daily. Okay, now a very, very important key that is helpful if you're trying to lose or gain weight is hit your protein and backfill the calories. This is important. So when you talk about calories, there's a lot of hidden calories in shit. And many people don't realize they'll eat throughout the course of the day and track their protein, but they're trying to shred down a little bit. They'll hit their protein, but there's a lot of hidden calories. Understand that in sauces and mayo and in sweet tea and milkshakes, many people don't account for all the drinks that they have and all the little calories and the sugar and shit all day that they drink. So when you track it, track everything. Everything goes in your body. If you had chicken and you cooked it in a little bit of olive oil, understand that you have to track the oil you cook it in, etc., because it's going to add up. The calories are going to add up, and if you're at an excess of a couple 500 calories a day, over the course of 3.5 days, you're going to put on a pound. If you're in a huge excess and you're not burning it correctly, and you're not putting on muscle at the same time, you're going to just get fatter. And that's why people say I'm a hard gainer. No, you just don't track your calories in a way that reflect the input-output ratio like I just described in the last section, okay? So understand that you need to hit your protein, and you also need to look at the calories. Now, in terms of backfilling calories, this is a useful ass strategy that I've learned. So if you want to maintain the weight you're at, backfilling calories is perfect. So if you can put on muscle a little bit and maintain the weight you're at through backfilling. So the way I describe it is you have to hit your protein first. So I'd say in breakfast and lunch, this is what I do around my vacation, right? So in breakfast and lunch, eat as lean at as low calorie as possible and as high as protein as possible. So a way you could try it is only eat like lean ground turkey or eat lean meat or a chicken or whatever it is in a protein shake, right? And you might hit 130 calories or 130 grams of protein in the first half of the day. And you might have, like for me example, I probably would need to eat 3,500 calories a day to maintain where I'm at based on my activity and just my metabolism, right? So if I've ate 130 grams of protein before dinner and I've only ingested 800 calories, I got 4,000 calories that I could maybe eat, right? Not 4,000, like 3,000 calories I could eat, right? Just in dinner. So that's 1-2 courses and dessert and sauces, and I could drink calories, okay? So in terms of a calorie standpoint, that's a way that you can eat whatever the frick you want every night for dinner, okay? While also maintaining your weight, your body composition, and your muscle. Because you've hit your protein and your calories are not in an excess to the point where you're going to gain fat. Okay? So in terms of just calories, what you need to have to maintain muscle and lose fat, and how to track it, this is it. So screenshot this if you need reminded. So in the last step of goal-oriented eating, you have to understand how much calories you're burning for what activity it is and what's the best activities to burn calories and also to gain muscle. So I gave you an example of how I use my calories to understand what I'm doing and the goals of it, but as well as you have to look up what activities that you're going to do and associate it with whatever goals you have. So you're going to have to look up a calorie activity burn chart. So just look this up in your phone. You'll find a huge chart, and it's going to list a bunch of activities, your body weight, and then the calories burned per minute, and you can take that and then figure out the time in which you did these activities and estimate the calories you've burned every day. That way you can add it on to your calories that we talked about in the chart, right? And then you can figure out every day how much calories you should eat, right? Now, it is a lot of work, right? Now, when people are like, oh, it's so much work, I have to put in my calories. It literally, in the course of an entire day, the entire time it'll take you to put in your calories and do this, maybe at maximum most 15 minutes. And by the way, people don't understand, right? The more you do this shit, the more you're just gonna know. I can just understand how many calories I've ate, and if I don't know, I'll plug it in the app for 5 seconds, figure out the calories. And in terms of protein, you get so good at knowing your body that you don't even need to look at it anymore. So do it for 6 months, and you probably won't even need the app anymore, and you'll just be able to understand your body, and you'll be at a level where you can lift, know the calories, and know your body, and you'll be freaking happy, okay? So, but in terms of this calorie activity burn chart, right, figure out how much you lifted, or how much time you worked out, what activity it was, the calories it burns per minute, how many minutes you did. I think it's multiplied by your body weight and then the time you did it, right? So how many calories that is, and then you're going to multiply it by the time, and that'll get the total amount of calories, right? For example, 180 pounds, you lift 60, 90 minutes. This comes out to about 400 to 800 calories depending on the intensity while building muscle. This is huge when I tell people about why cardio, in my opinion, like slow cardio, is stupid. Why? Because just the calories burned in high-intensity weightlifting, I'm not talking about HIIT workouts, I'm talking about lifting extremely hard at high volumes for 60 to 90 minutes with a little bit of interval cardio just for your cardiovascular system, right? Not for calories. Lift for calorie burn. Because in that time, I've burned 400 to 800 calories in addition to building muscle, which burns calories doing nothing, okay? And I've also gained muscle. So I look better, I'm burning fat, and the muscle on my body burns more than fat, okay? So when people, I see everyone at the gym walking, okay, this is just a little tip in terms of fitness about why you should not do low intensity cardio as a way to burn calories, because it's not as effective as just lifting. If you just lift really hard for an hour to an hour and a half, or even less, okay? You can burn the calories you need to burn while gaining muscle, which will in turn burn more calories for you without doing anything. And in terms of your diet, right, in terms of the diet that we talked about the whole time, you're going to be able to eat what you want when you want, know exactly how much you can eat, and then if you follow the activity burn chart, do more so you can eat more, and you'll have complete control of your calories in your body, your muscle, your gaining, your maintaining and losing, okay? In terms of a number chart and the numbers and how to understand your numbers and fluctuate them based on your goals, okay? So that was goal-oriented. That was all the numbers, okay? So hopefully it's not too much numbers. That was all the numbers of this section of the podcast. And the second section, which I'm about to start right now, is going to be performance. So in performance-based, we're going to talk about not how much you eat, but what it is you eat and what foods are going to be better for performance output in terms of carbs, fats, etc. Okay, so here's part 2. Okay, awesome. All right, welcome to performance-based nutrition. So we just talked about purely a numbers-based side of what you eat for gaining, losing, or maintain. But now that we assumingly have what we need to eat in terms of the numbers, let's talk about what we're eating to get the best output in terms of building muscle, losing fat, foods that are going to assist you more than just only focusing on numbers, because then you're going to be nutrient deficient, then you're going to have a bunch of issues hormonally if you're just eating fast food and that's just your calories. So we're going to talk about what are the best foods to eat. I'm not here to debate. I eat animal-based, but I'm not going to only include animal-based things. Why? Because not everyone eats that way, and I believe all foods, if eaten in a non-processed way, are beneficial, and you can get good results with any of them, okay? So I'm not here to tell you that every food's bad. I'm here to tell you what scientifically, in terms of a numbers thing, is going to work, but then I'm here to tell you both in animal ways and non-animal ways this food will work. I'm not going to here to say one way beats the other, because Olympic runners and marathon runners eat oatmeal, and then there are some people that say oatmeal is the devil and you're bad if you eat oatmeal. But scientifically, these foods statistically are good for you, okay? And I'm not saying it's only animal-based. Whatever one. If you find foods that are not on here that work for you, great. I don't give a shit. But whatever, I'm here to just tell people what works for me, and hopefully it works for others. If not, tell me about it. Comment below. Maybe I'll respond. Probably won't. Okay. So, proteins, carbs, fats, water intake. All right. So proteins, like we talked about, I'm gonna start with proteins and work my way over, and then also above, I'll talk about the calorie content of each. So proteins, 1 to 1.3 grams per pound of body weight. Proteins have 4 grams of 4 calories per gram, sorry. So every gram of protein you have is gonna have 4 calories. So if you eat 1 to 1.3 grams of protein per pound of body weight, you're gonna have a decent chunk of calories knocked out of the way that also are gonna keep you full and maintain the muscle mass you have and help you build more. So I recommend for people that are trying to gain weight in terms of a muscle standpoint, you're gonna wanna be on the higher side of the protein. In my opinion, you can never go crazy with protein as long as you're drinking a lot of water. Now, I'm not saying drink 18 core power protein shakes. That's not good for you. I'm saying never can go too crazy eating protein, because your body's going to stop you before you can eat so much protein that your body can't comprehend it, okay? So what you don't want to do is just drink 1,000 protein shakes without drinking a lot of water, because you're going to mess up your kidneys. So eating protein. Eat 1 to 1.3 grams of protein per pound of body weight. If you need to supplement with protein, do that, but I'll talk about that later. So protein, 4 calories per gram. Where you're going to get it from. So I find that the best way to get your protein is through some type of animal product. You can get it through chickpeas, you can get it through another way, but for me personally, I find that it's the easiest way to get protein, it tastes the best, and it's going to keep you full the longest if you eat it in the form of an animal product. If you don't want to eat animal products, there's chickpeas, there's other ways, but you're going to have to eat a lot of different animal plant foods to get the complex protein in terms of all 9 essential amino acids. That's a video for another day. But for right now, if you're a vegetarian, look up other protein ways to get it. Chickpeas, quinoa, tofu, whatever it is. If you're strictly going to be vegetarian, I don't really care, but you're going to have to look up a different way to get protein if you're not going to eat meat. And you're going to have to eat different things because you're going to be deficient in nutrients if you're not eating animal products. Because animal products, why I say these are the best proteins to eat, is because every one of these animal products contains all 9 essential amino acids, meaning they contain all the essential components of it's called a complete protein, and they keep you full the longest, and they're the best for your muscles because it's everything your muscles need to recover and build and repair. So, beef, pork, lamb, these are all going to be similar in terms of the nutrient content. They're all red meats, and they're all going to be pretty similar. Fish is going to be higher in fats, so it can be higher in calories. Steak and stuff can be too, but beef, pork, and lamb can also be found in leaner cuts. I would recommend, the best in my opinion, is leaner cuts of beef, pork, and lamb, because they're not only going to be the highest in protein content, they're going to keep you full the longest, and they taste the best, okay? So, beef, pork, lamb, fish, dairy, and eggs. Dairy and eggs are great to go along with beef, pork, and lamb, not only because it tastes the best, but they're the easiest. So this is some of the cheapest way. If you get ground beef, a couple glasses of milk, and a few eggs, okay? And you eat that every meal with a little bit of simple carbs or a complex carbs, whatever it is, that's going to be super cheap. If you get a whole 3-pound bag of rice, some beef, some milk, and some eggs, that's going to be the cheapest you can eat from a performance base. Also, if you want to get Chipotle, that's pretty good at all these as well. Okay? So, protein from these sources are going to keep you full the longest, and they're going to be the best for your muscles, in my opinion, right? If you disagree with me, eat another form. I really don't care, but this is just what works for me. So, 30 to 40 grams per meal, I find, is the easiest. And your body can only absorb about 30 plus grams of protein in one sitting as well, so it's going to give your body the best way to digest. If you intermittent fast, that's great, but at the same time, understand that if we're performance-based eating, the best way to build muscle is to not eat all your calories and protein in one sitting, because your body's not going to be able to digest that protein all at once. So if you get 30 to 40 grams per meal and you space out your meals, that's why eating smaller meals that are high in protein are best, because you're going to get the maximum amount of protein synthesis for your muscles to build and repair the best and to maintain the muscle you have. So I find, for me, about 4 or 5 meals a day, it'll be less sometimes, get over it, okay, are going to be the best for me to maintain my muscle mass when I'm not in football season lifting. So 34 grams a meal, and I find, this is important too, 20 to 30 grams of protein post-workout is going to be good as well. So in terms of your meals, that's great, but right after your workout, I find that it's best to drink you can drink this one, 20 to 30 grams of protein post-workout, or just eat another meal. So in terms of the post-workout, something you can also do is you can also drink it during workout. So if you want to have a protein shake during your workout and just sip it as you work out, that's even better. But most people don't want to sip a protein shake while they work out, so they just drink it after, and then they also will eat a meal. Great? So after a workout too, I find that the best way to get protein in the most, right after a good lift, go to Chipotle or something, get a big steak, get something that's super high in protein, eat it right after the meal, because your body's going to be able to absorb more because you're just worked on your muscles. You're going to be hungry, so it's going to be the time which your muscles are going to absorb the protein in the best way, so it's the best time to stack the protein. Okay? Next is going to be carbs. Carbs have the same calorie content per gram, except they don't have any protein. But the carbs are going to be the main source of energy, not only for your muscles, but for your brain, okay? So if you ever see like chess players or video game players, when they're playing video games, they actually burn a lot of calories. You see like some gamers are real skinny, or like chess players, they burn a lot of calories because your brain also uses carbs for energy as well. So if you can't think sometimes, a little life hack, eat some carbs, because your brain is hungry for energy. And this is also why if you don't sleep, then your body's going to crave carbs more because it wants that energy because your brain uses it. But that's for another video. But for right now, center your carbs around your workout. Why? Because they're our source of energy. Your body gains energy from carbs. It can get it from fats. This is why people think keto is the best way to lose fat, because your body's going to use the fat. But then again, if you're eating more calories than you burn, then you're not going to lose fat. But carbs is the quickest conversion of energy. Why? Because they're simple and complex carbs. Simple convert the fastest. And whilst I say, in my opinion, eat simple carbs around the workout, but I'll go through both and give you the benefits and cons in one. Okay? So carbohydrates, 4 calories per gram, center them around your workout. 40 to 50 grams of carbs, in my opinion, pre and post workout. Okay? So now we've had 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal, and we have our calories per gram. We have a decent chunk, so I'd say we have maybe 800 calories out of the way, 600 calories out of the way. If you have these carbs around your workout, not only do you have the protein, you have the good proteins that get your muscles in shape, you're going to have energy for your muscles to perform at a high level, and you're going to have a decent amount of calories bumped out already. Okay? So the proteins are to build the muscle, the carbs are in the muscle. So now, when we talk about glucose and carbs, all these carbs are going to eventually get broken down into what we call glucose, or sugar. So when people talk about complex versus simple carbs are already glucose or fructose or galactose in the milk, but they get to glucose the fastest and they convert to energy fastest. This is why you see Marshawn Lynch on the NFL eating Skittles on the sideline, because it converts the fastest. He wouldn't be eating rice on the sideline because it would take longer. This is when people say complex versus simple. Complex carbs are going to take a longer time to convert, but they're also going to give you energy longer. This is why marathon runners do something called carb loading, because your body stores glucose in a different form called glycogen, and people carb load before marathons or stuff because your body can store a certain amount and it'll give you energy over a long period of time. But most people in here are not marathon runners. They're people looking to get into shape through weightlifting, or you're an athlete trying to be sport specific. If you're not a marathon athlete, I'm assuming you're an athlete that does quick bursts like basketball or football, etc. So for this, you're going to need to utilize complex and simple carbs around your workout. So 40 to 50 grams pre-workout and post-workout. Post-workout, I'll talk about what else you should be taking with the carbs in terms of creatine in the supplement section, which will be next. But for now, 40 to 50 grams of carbs pre-workout and post-workout. Okay, so easy way you could do this. Bam, get a little bit of protein in, maybe get a little bit of fats in, eat some honey, some fruit, some milk before the workout, if you're going to eat it real close to the workout, eat it in a simple carb form. If you're going to wake up in the morning and you want to eat some potatoes because you have a workout a little bit later in the day, I would go with the complex. And then right before the workout, maybe you can eat a little bit of honey and fruit and milk as well, and both are going to fuel you through your workout. I personally find that honey is, in my opinion, the best carb. If you eat a little bit of honey, a little bit of fruit, maybe drink some milk, you're going to feel really, really good during your workout. But try both. If you eat rice, oats, and pasta, and you perform the best that way, do it. I'm not here to tell you there's a one-all-be-all solution, because everybody's body is different. Simple carbs, honey, fruit, milk. Complex carbs, rice, oats, rice, oats, and pasta, okay? So, there's obviously more forms of simple carbs, but simple carbs are also candy. Do not eat fucking candy before your workout. Just don't. Why? Just eat honey, fruit, and milk. You can eat candy, and it's simple carbs as well, but why? Okay? I would say go with honey, fruit, or milk, and then also the complex version if you want to get a longer lasting source of energy. For game day, performance-based, okay? So we're not just talking about workouts as well. If you're going to eat for game day, eat more complex carbs. This is why you see LeBron eating the pasta or the cookies or whatever it is, okay, before the games, because it's a complex carb and it's going to last him throughout his game. So if your goal is for long energy, complex. If your goal is for short energy for like 60 to 90 minutes, go simple carbs, okay? 40 to 50 grams pre and post workout. Okay, fats, okay? So this is the highest calorie content of all the macros. So these have 4 per gram. Fats have 9 calories per gram. So when you talk about fats in terms of a gain, lose, maintain, I would say deal with these to get your performance, but if you want to be conscious of the numbers, right, goal-oriented, think about these kind of last, okay, because they're going to have the highest calorie content, and this is where most people get into trouble in terms of their calories, because fats are in oils, in sauces, and butters, and they're hidden in a lot of things, okay, because carbs can be hidden, but they're less calories per gram in terms of even like the sugar. Sugar kills, but fat kills even more because it's got way more calories in a smaller area, and fats are super, super dense, okay, because like I said, they got more than double the calories per gram of protein and carbs. Okay, so like a stick of butter, that's a lot of calories in that little bit, whereas opposed to a whole steak is going to be super big, fill you up, and it's going to have not that many calories. Okay, so good fats are the best way to eat fats. So in terms of like people say saturated, non-saturated, seed oils, whatever, I'm not even going to get into that right now, but I'm saying the only fat you should really not eat is trans fats. Why? Because scientifically, there's research, right? When it comes to seed oils, there's a lot of fucking converging research about whether it's good or not, the heating. There's research to show that trans fats are not good. Why? Because our body has enzymes to break down 2 fats, unsaturated and saturated, polyunsaturated, etc. A trans fat is a man-made fat found in a lot of processed foods that our body lacks the enzyme to break down. So what happens? What do you think happens when you have a fat in your body that our body can't break down? It's going to stay there. So this is why these fats are so bad, right? And these fats are so hard to get rid of. It's because our body really can't break them down, and they have to store before we can burn them, okay? So for these fats, they have to store as fucking sub-Q fat or visceral fat on your body before you can even burn them. So stay away from them at the beginning, because your body it takes so much longer to break them down than just regular fats, okay? So, like I said, they got the highest calorie content, so make sure you track them. If you eat Chick-fil-A sauce, track it, because it's got oils and shit in it that's got a high calorie content. If you eat a steak and there's butter on it, or they cooked your food in oil, whatever the hell it is, track it, because there are going to be a lot of calories that might be hidden in there if your goal is to lose. Understand that you might get into trouble if you're not tracking the sauces and the oils, etc. Okay? So, in terms of fats that I like and fats that work for me are going to be fish, eggs, milk, and butter in terms of the animal-based fats that I like. These fats are going to be saturated fats, but if you're an active person, I find that saturated fats really don't matter because you're an active person and you're going to use them. So, fish is going to be double trouble because you're going to get protein and fats. Eggs are freaking great. Eggs are an energy drink in itself, and not a drink, you don't drink your eggs, but it's an energy source in terms of the vitamin content as well as the fat. Milk, butter, great fats as well. There's going to be beef fats, perfect, good fats, but also understand the calories when you're taking these fats in if your goal is to lose weight. Okay, non-animal based fats are going to be olive oil, avocados, and nuts. I don't eat them that much. Avocados are great, olive oil is great, but these are just also other fat sources that are going to be great for working out, recovering after. The best way I find to eat my fats, get a little bit in the morning, get a little bit with some lunch. I don't really tend to eat a lot of fats around my workout, but I get some in the morning. I usually eat a little bit of fat with my protein, like eggs and beef, etc. And dairy is going to have a little bit of fat and carbs, so I'll get some in that way. But I also find that fats are going to be best for evening, because if in the end of the day you can eat a steak with some butter, and you can eat whatever else it is, and you're going to have sauces on your food, it's going to be best to get your fats at the end of the day, because that's when I'm talking about the backfilling the calories. If you want to backfill your calories, you can eat more fats at the end of the day and not have to worry about it because you're just eating backfilling calories, okay? So, the last part of performance-based nutrition is going to be water. People don't understand, like I talked about glucose being a center in your brain where your brain's going to get energy from. It's going to be glucose. But your brain and your body itself is composed of 70% water. So, if you're not giving it water, and most of your body is water, do you think it's going to perform at a high level? Fucking absolutely not. So you need to drink about a gallon a day or an ounce per pound of body weight. I find that just a gallon is fine. Carry on a gallon, you're going to drink more. And drink your salt with some salt and some lemon, because most people don't realize if you drink a lot of water and you start pissing clear, then you're actually not, you're deficient in electrolytes. You're hydrated, but you're not hydrated with electrolytes. So when you drink water, I find that a little bit of lemon with some salt is going to make you more hydrated fully, okay? So when you piss, it's a little gross, but when you piss, it should not be clear. It should have some yellow in it, okay? So make sure when you drink water, you're having food and you're also having salt and lemon with your water, and your piss should be a little bit yellow and not super clear all the time. It's clear. Just eat some salt. Put some salt on your food. It's not that big of a deal. But in terms of the macros of the food you can eat for performance-based eating, these are the macros and the foods that go with the macros for you to construct a meal plan that's going to work for you to eat in a way that's going to supplement your hormones and your muscles. Okay, so this is the supplement portion of performance-based nutrition. So the red ones are going to be ones that I recommend to everybody. Then the blue ones are ones that some people just take on the side but can also be found easily in your diet. But they're also a good supplement if you want to take as well. If you're maybe deficient or maybe you're a vegetarian, you're not going to get some of these in your diet. These are good ones to take as well. These two are kind of like, this one's an electrolyte. This one just, people are deficient in a lot. This one has to do, it's amino acid, it's good with protein. But these are the main ones that I recommend to everybody to take every single day, and they're cheap and they're not expensive. These ones are going to be a little bit more pricey because they're very isolated and you have to get them out of things. These, not only should you get them in your diet, but they're easy to find and they're cheap because they're very available in lots of sources. Okay, so supplement-wise, protein. So most people, when they think about protein, they just think of shakes. So if you want to drink a whey protein, I recommend whey isolate, like a milk isolate or a beef isolate protein, and drink it in a lean way. Don't get a mass gainer protein shake, because a lot of those calories, they're empty ass calories, and they're not filling, and it's just extra calories that are not required. Eat your calories, drink protein for the numbers with food. So for a protein, I would say a protein shake, if you got a Muscle Milk or a Core Power, or you got a shaker cup and you make it that way, that's great. But I say eat your protein and then drink the rest as a supplement, because protein shakes are a supplement, not a sustenance. So sustenance is the food you eat. Supplements are what you add on to the food you eat to get the best results possible and have a performance-based diet, okay? So protein, drink it in addition to what you eat, but eat more and then backfill the protein with drinking if you can't get it in eating it, okay? So next is going to be creatine. Creatine is the most researched supplement ever. It was banned, it wasn't banned, yada yada. It's found in red meat as well. So in terms of creatine, if you increase your red meat, you're going to increase your creatine. I say about 3 to 5 grams post-workout with carbohydrates. Best time to take creatine, and take it every day. People say you have to cycle your creatine. It's baloney, okay? Protein every day, creatine every day, about 5 grams per creatine, however many grams of protein you need. Creatine with carbs, I just take creatine pills. The best way, in my opinion, also to get creatine, if you're gonna buy creatine, buy it in like a big quantity, because creatine, if you buy it in little batches, it gets expensive. For me, I think I bought it for like $40. It's like 125 servings. It's a blue bottle, and it's got like 125 servings. I take pills. Creatine pills. I take a couple pills with some honey, a scoop or two of honey right after my workout. I find it's the easiest and works the best. If you really want to get into saving money, creatine can be bought, I think on Amazon, in humongous giant tubs for like $80, right? They're $80, but it's like 4 pounds of powdered creatine. If you really want to save money, do it that way, because that's like 2 years worth, okay? Multivitamin. I take my multivitamin, I take a men's one a day, but in terms of eating multivitamins, try to get your vitamins in a diet, because the vitamins you take in a pill are not going to absorb the same way the food is, okay? So I say to be extra safe, get all of your vitamins, right? Now you don't have to like sit there and like graph out, right? I find that eating animal-based gets you the best amount of multivitamins possible, because in meats and animal products, all the vitamins are already in there, like meat, eggs, dairy, fish, etc., okay? That's going to have not only a high quantity of vitamins, but they're going to be very soluble and digest in a good way, okay? But do whatever works for you. But for a multivitamin, I like to eat liver, okay? So I eat beef liver. If you want to look up the vitamins of liver, look up the nutrient density of liver and look how dense full of nutrients it is, okay? But if you don't want to, I recommend one a day, a great vitamin. They have so much vitamins in it. You take one a day. They're super cheap, ton of servings. But another cheap way to get my vitamins too is to eat liver. Liver's cheap. All these are super cheap. These are the cheapest ones, cheapest vitamins that everyone should take every day. Okay? Next one and the last one, my personal favorite, is caffeine. Okay? Now caffeine is not like a supplement. You don't want to like just take caffeine every night before you go to bed. It's not like protein or creatine. Okay? Caffeine is something you want to take, in my opinion. It's the best supplement for productivity. Okay? I recommend caffeine pre-workout with carbs, okay? Or all the time. I find that caffeine makes you extremely productive, and caffeine is not bad for anybody as long as you're not taking 5 caffeine pills a day, right? I recommend just drinking coffee or Celsius, right? I find that caffeine helps people, and I recommend it to anybody that's unmotivated. Caffeine, more energy, more productive. But that's not a supplement you have to take every day. I just recommend caffeine to everybody. But, okay, in terms of the other two, so the last 3 are not ones that I would recommend because they're a little bit more expensive, but glutamine is an amino acid that is really key in recovery, and it aids in a lot of the processes of your muscle's ability to repair itself. Magnesium and potassium go hand in hand because a lot of people are maybe deficient in some of them. Potassium's an electrolyte. You can eat some bananas and you're going to get some potassium as well. You can also take it in a supplement as well. Magnesium is the one that is really key as well because it is really good in terms of sleep and muscle recovery and your muscle's ability to heal as well. So for magnesium, if you want to take extra magnesium supplement, that's great. It aids in a lot of the body's processes and how it functions in the energy development of the body. So these ones are going to be a little bit more expensive, but they're also going to pay dividends if you do take them. I feel and I've found. But if you don't take magnesium, potassium, and glutamine, eat a banana. Forget about the other two. You'll be all right. Okay. But in terms of the supplements, I recommend everyone protein, creatine with carbs, multivitamin, and caffeine are going to be vitamins and not vitamins, supplements that are going to be good for anybody to take all the time, and I recommend them to anybody. So that was my breakdown on nutrition, not only from a numbers aspect, but from a performance aspect and the best foods that I found that you can eat and how to look at your macros and the numbers that you can control. Do it yourself so you don't have to pay me to do it. And this is a way I found that anybody can control their diet, get their weight under control, and also maximize the performance and the output they have when they are working out to dominate their bodies, okay? Now, if you read all this and you're like super overwhelmed, you don't know what to do, I can do this for you, but this is why I'm doing this for free for the people that can't or won't pay me to do it. But if you want to pay me to just do this for you, be my guest, sign up, email me, and I will do this for you. And not only the nutrition side, I'll do the training side, the recovery side, etc. And you'll have access to me for any questions you have, and I'll build you a meal plan, I'll build you a training plan, whatever it is, okay? But in terms of goal-based nutrition, performance-based nutrition, that was it. Please comment any questions you have below. Reach out, email me. Go watch all my social medias. I'm going to have a lot of information around this stuff as well for more in-depth stuff. DM me on any of my social medias. Shoot me an email. My link tree is down below for all my socials to contact me with any questions you have. Thank you for watching, and I hope you put this into use and let me know how it's working for you. Thank you.